Building a key group out of a balafon. This is the video today. This video is brought to you by
Sounds Premium.
Today I'm building up a key group out of balafon samples. The balafon looks like this, and I'm gonna emulate this on the MPC. We have 4 velocities per key, and it goes from F2 to F4. So this is the scale I have, and this I will lay down on the MPC. So it's all about the programming. I have pre-edited the samples, and now it's time to go into the MPC standalone to show you what I'm doing at the moment. This balafon key group will be a part of my upcoming Afrobeat MPC expansion. So let's go. Here we are standalone in the MPC. Hit Shift, menu to go to my browser. There are my samples. I have about 60 samples in my balafon folder. I have samples in 4 different velocities, and I will organize these samples as a key group. I hit Shift, load all, and now all my samples are loaded in. I go to the key group icon right here, and it is a key group program, and I will call this program in the naming style of my MPC expansion already. And my Afrobeat expansion is called AE in the short form. So I tell the category it's mallets, AE, and the name of the instrument is a balafon. So this is an African instrument which looks like this. I hit do it, and now I will program everything. Before I start the programming process, I will check all the samples in my sample edit. Go to my sample editor, and as you can see, there are different samples, 60 samples, and these samples are cutted in a proper way, but not all of them. I have done a few mistakes. Here's too much information at the beginning, so I have to cut these samples in a good way so that I don't have too much information in the beginning, and that the sample is starting at the right time and the right point. So I have to set this up. I have a naming going on which is very logical, and this is the A2 note, velocity 1, which is the lowest velocity, 2 is higher velocity, 3 higher velocity again, and 4 is the highest velocity. And there I have to be in a certain concept to find all my samples and to organize them in a proper way. So let's start with the naming, or with the naming of the root nodes. So you can see the root node information is right here, and I have to tell the MPC that the root node is in A2. So A2, and I have to cut it in a proper way. I will zoom it in, then I will see where the sample is starting, and from there I hit discard just to have the sample in the right length, and now I can move on to the second sample. So the second sample is cutted in the proper way. So here I just have to give the node again, the root node, going to my third sample V3, also going to the root node, and this I will repeat for all of the samples. So right now here we have to cut again, so we will zoom in, and this I have done in the DAW, maybe in this case not in a proper way, so I will do it on the or in the MPC standalone, which is also very convenient to cut the samples here. But I have pre-EQ'd the samples. Everything is done already, so I can add further effects in the MPC, but the main effects that should be into the sample I have already done. So the EQing is a very important part to make the samples sound very nice. I have also added some compression, some effects to make them sound very nicely, but to keep them in a natural style so that you have a true balafon which is sounding like the original. I think it's very good for you that you don't have to wait all the time while I'm doing the processing. So now I will speed up the video so that you don't have to watch every step what I'm doing, but I think you got the concept how I'm working on these samples, and that's why I'm speeding up the video from this point. So there we are. I have edited all these samples in the sample editor, and I will go directly to Program Edit now. And here I can define the number of key groups. I set the number of key groups to 15. So here we go. Now I will start with the first key group, and if I want to change all the key groups at once, I can set this to all, and now I can define the sample play style. In my case, the sample play is one shot, not node on, because then when I hit the pad, the sample is playing from the beginning to the end without stopping if I let the pad go. So node on is maybe for instruments like, let's say, synths. There we need the node on sample play, but here we need the one-shot style. This is what I need for a balafon because it's a percussion instrument. Let's go to 1 again, because when I have set it to all, I'm changing the parameters of all key groups, and this is something I don't want, because now I go to the settings that are individually for every key group. So I start with key group 1 with the lowest note, which is the F2 note. I go to my samples right here, and here I will load up on layer 1 the first layer. I will start with the highest velocity, which is V4. So I go to my first note, F2, which I can find here, starting with V4. And now I go to layer 2, set up V3 to have it correctly, so that every key group has the different velocities. So 3, on layer 3 I have V2 from the note F2. That's like that. Now I have V2, F2, V2, and here I have F2, V1. Then I'm finished with key group 1. And what I can do here is going to the samples tab at this point, where I can set up the root node, and here it is telling me SMP, which stands for the root node of the sample. I have defined the root node within the samples editor. If I wouldn't have set it up in the sample editor, I could alternatively set it up right here, or I can do both in addition. So then we are completely secure that everything is tuned in the right way. So it is F2, F2 again, and this I have to repeat for every key group. So this is what I'm doing right here, and I have to set up the velocities, which I will show you later. Now I will speed up this video again so that you don't get bored again, so that everything is in the right place. Now this step is finished. We go 2 pages further, samples tab. Now we are on the page where the velocities can be defined. Very important is that we are defining the velocity start and end points for all key groups. So I will set this to all again, and now I'm changing every key group at the same time. 127 is the highest velocity. The first layer is velocity 4, and here I will start the velocity on 96. So it goes from 96 to 127. And the key group below, this one here, has to go until 95 then. So here has to be no 96, it has to be 95. Otherwise, the key groups would overlap, and this is something we don't want. We want to have the layers separately and that the sounds are clean and are not overlapping. The highest value is now 95 because the next layer is starting on 96. So I will set up this one on 65. It's something you can try out. We can change these values if we don't like. We have to play it to decide if these settings are fine for the desired key group we are creating. So here we go to 64 then, because they shouldn't overlap. And we go from 33, and then the last layer, the first or the fourth layer in this case, is going to 32. From 0 to 32. Now we have set it up, and now, as you can see, all key groups are the same now when it comes to the velocity start and to the velocity endpoints. The next step right now is to go to the keyboard icon. I tap on this icon, and now I can go through all the key groups. And when you can see the key groups here, everything is in red, which is not good. So we have to set up the key range, the note range of the key group. So I'm in key group 1, and key group 1 is F2. So I have to go right here and set this one to F2 to have it correctly, that I know, okay, here is my note F2. And the highest key is F2 as well for now. We will define all these ranges later on in another way, and now I go to key group 2, which is G2. The note is G2, so I go here to G2, and the highest note should be as well G2. This is what I'm doing right here, and I repeat this process for every key group I have. Now I have reached key group 14, and now the last key group is 15. And 15 is the F4 key. This is the note, and now you can see the keys here are turning white, which is a very good sign that I have set it up in the right way, because now you can see all the notes which I have set up. And now I will set this one also in the right range. As you can see, we have all the keys now. We have 15 key groups with 4 velocities each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So all the notes are represented right here. And what I do right now, you can see that the black keys are not occupied by a note. They are free. So now what I will do is to fill out all these gaps. And there is a very important rule. It's always better to pitch down than to pitch up. This is something which is very common in sampling. If you have the choice between pitching up and pitching down, go for the pitching down process, because the algorithm is much better there. So I go to the first one, key group 1. And from here I will pitch all the other keys down. So the lowest key is not F2 anymore, it's the lowest key that we have. So from there the notes are going up to the original pitch F2. And as you can see, the next one is G2. And from there I'm going one key down, because the black key here is not occupied by a note, it is empty. So we go from the highest key G2 to the lowest one, in this case F sharp 2. So that's it. And we go to the third one and we repeat it. We go one key down to G sharp 2. So all the sharps are filled out, all these gaps, and we go down, not up. So this is the way I'm doing it. So C3, we go further, D3, and one key down, going to key group 7, one key down, key group 8, 9, one key down, and the number 10, one key down, number 11, one key down, 12 is there, we don't put that one up, we go to key group 13 instead, put that key down, going to key group 14, putting that key down, and now we go to key group 15, which is the last key group, and this is the only key group we have to pitch up in this case because we don't have notes that are following the last note F4. So in this case we have to pitch it up because we don't have another choice if you want. So that's why I'm defining this key to go up until the last key G8. And now this is always the moment where I think hopefully everything is in the right order, because otherwise I have to find the mistake then, and this is very time consuming as well. It's like programming this one in, you have to fix everything and to make sure that everything is working. So we go to main, to our key group program, and let's check if the key group is working. Let's go to pad perform, and I have set this to custom, and now I can go through all these notes. Going higher to a much higher scale. These notes I wouldn't play anymore because they are too high. So I think this is the highest end. So it sounds very good to my ears. But it's very dry, because it's good to have dry sounds, and I can make them more effective now by adding effects, and this is something I will do right now. I go to my section right here, to the channel mixer, and here I have my balafon key group, and I will add some effects. First of all, I would like to add maybe some room effects, reverb. I go to delay reverb here, going to the air reverb, going to edit, and here I will set up something. I will put the mix down because 100% is not parallel. It is like maybe you use 100% if you use it as a send effect, but this is on the inserts. For key groups it works like this, so I just lower the mix, going to maybe 15%, and we'll try it. Yeah, you can see now I got a certain feeling for the room, small studio type, large studio. I go through the presets here to the type presets. Yeah, maybe I will go to the boost. Yeah, I will stick with the room effect, for example, and yeah, maybe I will lower the room size, going lower. Maybe 1 second is enough. Increase the mix. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, this sounds very nice. I think I will leave it like that. Maybe I will go to the ambience to influence this. I go from a high value to 0 to compare the values. Yeah, I will leave it on 0. It sounds very natural to me, not too much reverb. And now I have velocity sensitive pads. So check it out. We can go from note to note to showcase what I have as a result. I'm turning on Pad Perform again, going to notes to be in a certain scale, and I will go to my F scale, let's say F2. I will start from F2 because this was the lowest note I have sampled, and now I have velocity sensitive pads. So a low velocity, higher velocity to the highest. You can see now it's very natural, and I can influence the velocity as well in the program edit again. There I can go to this tab right here. It's in the global section. No, it is in the envelope amp section. Now it's on the max value 127. And I can lower this, for example. Maybe I will go down to, let's say, yeah, 78. And now you can see the value is changing. This is because I have not set it to all. So I go to all. This is very important. Now I'm changing all key groups at the same time again. Maybe I will go from the max value . Maybe I will lower it a little bit, maybe going to 50% to 50. Now it's not that sensitive. And now I can realize that the sound is going up very quickly on my pad on a certain key group, and this I can change by changing the volume of the key group. If I'm hitting this pad right here, it's very strong. The highest velocity is coming up very quickly. Compare it with this pad. So the highest velocity here has to be changed in volume, I think. And before I change something right here, I go from all again to the key groups itself, hitting the pad. So if I'm hitting any pad, it tells me which key group it is. So if I'm hitting the pad which is too loud and the highest velocity, this is this pad, so it's key group 5. And here I can lower the volume. So I will decrease the value. I go to full level. And now I will decrease the value. Maybe like that. So I compare it with the other pad. Yeah, this is the pad where the key group 1 is. And now it's similar. And you can see this one is also quite too loud. I will change the value here also to 90. This is a very good point. And you see this one is also very loud. Decreasing the value to 90. Here also. So I'm tuning this to my taste. This one is also very loud. Lower the volume here. I'm playing full level now to fine-tune everything. So I'm going to the next page. Yeah, it's very high. still too loud. I will go maybe here to 85. Here as well. Here as well. Now I go to half level. And now I'm changing the velocity rate here on half level. Half level is maybe this layer here. Yes, this is exactly the layer. Yeah, I'm adjusting everything. Yeah, now it's fine. That's the way it is. I will add an effect after this reverb, I think. Yeah, it's good to have further effects here. The reverb should be last in the chain. So I will save this maybe as balafon reverb so that I can load it up again. Remove it here as a first thing. I will insert it in number 2. Again, reverb. There it is. And then I will load up my settings again so that I don't have to dial them in again. So I go to number 1, insert, and here I will add another effect. So maybe I go for a chorus, just to try it out. Chorus 2 voice, select. Let's see. Turn it off. Yeah, you have to have your headphones on to see the difference. Turn it on again. Smooth chorus. Nice one. It is called Nice One. I'm going through all these presets. Deep chorus is very nice. Maybe it's a little bit wet. I will reduce it to 50. Turn it off. Turn it on. Yeah, maybe see how it is sounding if it's wetter. Going maybe to 70. Off. On. I like that. I will leave this one inside. And another important factor is to test out all these velocities if they are working correctly, because by hitting the pad it's quite difficult to check all the velocities in the right order. So what I do for that, I record a 1-bar loop just with a full velocity. And I start with the first note, the F2, to check everything, and I will overdub 1, 2, 3, 4. That's enough. So I go to the grid view, and here I can change the velocity. So I know that the first velocity is going from 0 to 32. So I will set this one up, the first node, I will set this to, no, sorry, I will go to automation. Now I can change the velocity and I will set this one up to 32 because then I'm sure that I'm hitting only the first velocity because the first velocity is ending on 32. I can go maybe also with 31. So it's important to have a velocity below 32 or 32 as a max. So I go to the next node and there I know the highest velocity is 64. I reduce it to 63. And the third node I will reduce to 95 because 96 is the highest velocity level of this layer if you want. And the last one is the highest velocity. I go to 126 and now I have all velocities and I can check them and compare them if they are working correctly if I hit play start. So this is the first node, and the second node I have sampled. I can transpose everything now to G2. So this is G2. And this way I can check everything, and as you can see there is a certain consistency going on, which is very important to have a very natural playing feel. So the next node is A2. I go to A2. There it is. It's very nice, very clean. Going to B2 as the next node. Yeah, great. And now we have coming up next C3. The next one is not the sharp note, it is D3, because the sharp note is a pitch down note, as you see in my key groups. So this was the next one. Now I have E3 going on. There it is. Again. I can also turn off the loop. Don't loop, so then it will stop at the right time. Transpose the further node. So I went from E3 to F3, everything is fine. And G3, it's very well played, very nicely, and the volume is just nice. Yeah, the third layer, as you can see here, is a little bit too loud for my taste. And as you can see, it is an A3. This layer is in the program edit again. Which layer is it? Let's check. I go here, it's A3. That's correct. I can see it also here. It's A3. And layer 2 should be reduced in volume. So yeah, let's go to this one. It's layer 1, it's layer 2, layer 2. There it is, and I will reduce this volume and listen to it. To check if I got the right volume, you see I've turned it off. This is the right layer, so this one has to be adjusted. So again, maybe a little bit higher, I go to 60 maybe. Yeah, maybe a little bit lower again, 55. That's nice, that's nice. Now everything is nice. I go to pentatonic F major scale. This is an African scale. Let's listen to it. I will change something in the program edit again, because playing it on the pads is a little bit strange right now, because the amp velocity modulation should be on 127 again. again to check it on the keys as well. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. If this video was helpful for you, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, and please also give it a thumbs up and please leave a comment down below. I will really appreciate that, and I will see you next Sunday. Please don't forget to sign up for my newsletter to get a discount code when my upcoming MPC expansion Afrobeat is out. This is the cover. See you next Sunday, 9 o'clock, Mr. DK TV. I'm out of here. Blessings.